uh,
Uh-huh.
has different terms, but I find the videos very helpful in terms of trying to understand the stimulus. And I write down what time they're explaining stuff.
Okay, good. The one you mean my videos?
Yeah,
Yeah, if you can if you because I don't find the time, if you can put those times in the chat, not the chat, the comments of the video, it will connect to the video so you can test them again, like, or you can go there again. Let me show you what I mean. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay. So I have you watching these ones, right? Mm.
for today we had to watch 1 through 6, and on the other ones you had here.
Yeah, so those are just extra. The ones you have to watch are mine. Those are the mandatory ones where it says conferencia. Those other videos are just the backup. It was
Okay.
only for the first module or the second module that I wanted you to watch them for sure. But the other videos, they're still good. If your time is short, I don't know why I can't seem to show. Hold on. Shift. I don't know why. I can't seem to see my YouTube video. Okay, hold on. I'll do it this way. Okay, so here I tell you to watch these ones and I put it in bold because it's mandatory. The notes are directly connected to those videos, but in the other ones, it's just a recommendation. It's not required. Okay.
Okay, I
I
got it.
mentioned it in the syllabus, but you can watch them. What you really have to watch are so for this week, I wanted you to watch everything here. This is what you have to watch. These ones explain the notes.
Okay.
These are the notes, and then these are backup videos from previous years. Now, if you go to this one and there's no timestamps in the videos. Sometimes YouTube does it automatically, but it didn't do it automatically. But what you can do if you want to keep track is in the comments, you can write down like, can you see? You can
Yes.
do
Yes.
30 00 if that's a place mark. And I don't know what I did there, but if I say I did box plots, so you can keep notes for yourself. I haven't had a opportunity to do it, but I have it on some other videos. So then when you come back here, as long as you're logged in to Google, like your Gmail, when you go on YouTube, you can type comments. So that will go to the spot. You see, it goes to 2:30. Oh, look, see box plots. And that way you can have a record and easily go through and manipulate. Everyone can do that themselves. You can make your own list. You can edit this. Yeah, you can edit this and add in more that you want. So you can make your own list of where you want to go. Okay? That's timestamps. I'll leave it here so you guys can see. Okay, and your name's on it because, well, not your name, but whatever your ID is will be there. So if you want to go back, you can find it. Okay, so you can organize yourself and have your own record, and other people can use it too. If you want to do a community service. So that's it. That's what I wanted you to see this week. And then there's all these. These are page by page. These are edited videos. They were not in the classroom, so they're edited page by page by page. So you can also go back and see. I don't remember weighted mean. I got to go back and see. I don't remember scatter plots. I got to go back and see all these videos. If you don't have time to see them, but you realize you're missing, you have some gaps in understanding, you can use them to go back. But priority number 1 is watch these conferencia videos. Priority number 2 is get through these page by page and make sure you understand them. Remembering you can speed up the video or you can just watch parts of the video, but you have to watch these conferencia completely or you don't have the course, because that explains the notes. So I appreciate your input on that. Any other questions or problems with or issues with the platform? Then there's the actividades. Did anybody finish them?
I just do the quiz 3.1.
That's okay. And it was okay?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, and then I'm going to put the online connect problems, but that's not more of a priority than these. You have to get through the material. Those should be easy once you get through the material. They're not. There was one question somebody sent me, and I agree that it was a weird question on the quiz or the connect assignment. So I will delete it because the answer was strange. And I don't know why it gave the answer now that I think about it. It just tells you, if you got it correct. Is that right? Connect should tell you if it's the correct answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't tell you which one is the right answer though.
Exactly.
No, after you finish the attempt and you submit it, then if you want to start another one, you can see something on the top, and that says the answer was correct or not. And if it's wrong, that's not necessary. It says what is the correct one.
Yeah, so you get to try.
Yeah.
And your highest grade will count. Yeah, Carolina, the highest grade on Connect. It will be the grade you get for that. So my advice is you do that at the end, and it shouldn't be hard because you get so much help. But if you waste your time, I'm gonna say waste, but if you spend your time on Connect only, you're gonna miss the whole week. You're gonna lose the week because that's just a few problems, and I think they're very simple compared to what you have here on the platform.
So, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about Connect. So what are the tasks or exercises that counts, like
Your
the
exam,
quizzes and
the Connect matters, but I'm not going to count all of them. So it's here. Okay. What does it say?
Yeah, but in terms of practices, meaning the quizzes we have on Moodle or the attempts we have on Connect.
It says here, test, class participation. So whatever you do to be ready to participate in class, you need to do it. And that includes watching my videos, reviewing the notes. Connect is only 10%, and I'm only going to take a portion of the Connect problems, Connect assignments. Like if I end up giving you 10, I'll grade like 5 or 6 of them. It's not a lot.
Right. So
don't put all your effort in Connect. That's not the right use of time. The right use of time is to prepare for the class.
Okay, so according to this, the quizzes and the tasks we have on Moodle, it's part of the 20%, right?
That is part of preparing for the class, yeah.
Yep.
And in the class, I said you only have to attend 5.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that it's worth your time to attend all of them. Okay, but I only grade 5, your best 5.
Mhm.
All right, so okay, so let's go. Let's see, more question. The exam will be in, so the question is, where will the exam be, or how will the exam be? The exam will be like the homework exercises, multiple choice, and then there'll be some problems that you have to express yourself. You should provide evidence of all your solutions for the exam, whether it's multiple choice or a short answer. You should be prepared to provide a solution, and then you submit that with you submit the solutions with your multiple choice options. What I usually have 3 parts, or 2 parts. So you have multiple choice, and then you have the short answer, and you upload them to the platform. It will all be there with the instructions of what to do.
Perfect. So that means the exams will be on Moodle, not on Connect.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. And
And will be by time?
no, I said in the you guys, I'm pretty sure we talked about it in the syllabus, but maybe you didn't see it. Review the syllabus, but I say there, let me double check because I may be.
I believe we have 3 days until she
Yeah.
open it.
Is 3 days. It's here. So make sure you read it so you're aware and that it's clear, because I have 6 classes and sometimes I mix things up, so I have to look back here. So yeah, I'm going to post it on the day of the test. We're going to have a class, and then at 1 o'clock I will post the exam for 3 days. So that is to be flexible for everybody's schedule. You should not be working together on the exams. You should be working independently, however. And I expect you to sign the honor code at the top of the course. These questions should be like the homework questions. That's how it should feel. They're like the homework questions, maybe a little more challenging. And when I'm talking about the homework questions, I'm talking about right here. The homework questions in each module are at the bottom here, called homework. It's going to be like that. Now, I think that tareas are a little more challenging even there. So I think the test is more like between the homework and the tareas, like in difficulty, but mostly multiple choice problems. So practicing the homework would be I give you a good idea of what I expect. The answers for homework at the bottom. The solutions, if you have any questions, the solutions are actually on the platform as well. I've solved them, like, a little bit of step-by-step solution. I'll show you where I put those.
Hi, Professor. I'm unable to access any of these.
I don't think you're in my class. I spoke with and I did respond to your email. Alex Ruiz says that you're not scheduled in this class. Did you review that with him?
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I
you're
should
not on
look
my
up.
list, and he told me you're not in my class, and I asked him. That's why I asked you which class you were in, because I don't see you in my list. So that's why you cannot access.
All right, I'll talk to him. Thank
Yeah,
you.
talk to him. But you can stay if you want. You have to take the class eventually if you want to stay.
Okay.
But if you have to go, I understand. But yeah, communicate with him of what happened and which I guess you're in ethics. Do you have your class list, your schedule?
Yeah, it's MECU, and MECU 665, I think, and CO Contabula
So that sounds like my class, but you're not on my list. Okay, hold on, everyone. I'm sorry. Let me check. Let me double check. Because if you don't have Moodle, then you're not registered in this class.
So I do have Moodle and I've registered for your courses. I've registered for your course and the accounting course. But
It sounds like you know the class number, so yeah. You can
yeah,
stay.
I am registered.
You can't. You have to resolve why you're not in Moodle. Let me check my list that you're in my list. I apologize for everything. It's so confusing. There are students who also like you were not able. See, you're still not on my list.
Okay, I'll talk to Dr. Alex and
Yeah,
resolve it with him.
yeah, okay. And you're welcome to stay if you want to stay.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So I need to start recording the class. So what was I just doing? I was going to show you where the solutions are, right? For all of the homework. It's, let me find it first and then where did I put it? I think in the introduction, module 1. Yeah, okay, so here it is. You see here it says in modulo 1, all homework solutions. So this is a document I prepared with the solutions. Do not study from solutions documents, okay? Those are just to verify your answers. Do not study from them. These were transcribed by a student of mine. They are not a perfect transcription, but it's something here. She had some trouble with the equation editor. It's not bad. It's better than nothing. Let's think of it that way. So, all right, there was a question about the calculator. Let's see. Okay, Victoria, you had a question about the calculator.
It's just that on the recordings, I was like following up with the examples and I didn't get like using the calculator. So I know we have to put second, stat, data,
Yeah.
I think up and down like the la flecha. So I was like a bit lost and I would like to see if you could explain it a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let me talk about that for a minute about module 3. So in these videos here, conferencias, that's where I'm using the BA2 Plus that I asked you to use. But in the videos below, I'm teaching with a different calculator. I actually should make a note about that. Because these were older when I was using the other TI calculator. But my correction is that you watch it here first. So do you remember where you were confused? Were you confused in the conferencia or down here?
I think it was in the playlist ones because first I went to the conferencia ones and then I went to the playlist
And you
for
were
a follow-up.
Yeah. The ones in the playlist are using the old calculator. But okay, so it should be in the conferencia. But if let's see, let's record today, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll put that in here as a substitute. Okay. Okay, so let's okay, let me make a note of what we're gonna do. Let me make a list. What else?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. What else should we do? What else is on the list? So teaching the stat mode and the calculator. What other questions do you come with? And
Professor, what is the best way to use the book? I mean, the readings that are there, because I see that you prepared also like a synthetic text that looks like the text, like it's based on this that you wrote, it's based on the book. And shall we read the book? I mean, how can we use the book for the best, make the best use of the book?
If you have time, okay, so after when you do the Connect exercises, the book is just a reference. As it was somebody explained, I can't remember who it was at the beginning, was saying that the book uses different terminology. They might have different words, but it's the same concept. So you'll need that as a reference when you answer the Connect questions. So that's how I see the use of the book. Also as a reference, if you want to go deeper or have extra time, I have to give you a reference book, but that is not my textbook. My textbook is my notes. That's my book for you.
Okay.
But because, you know, there's more examples there, there's more. So I don't think most students have time to do everything I have here. But if you find time or students find time, you can also read the book. But I'm not including that. When I put these, when I listed the sections up here, that's just for reference for answering the, oh, I have to open that syllabus. This is just a reference list for solving the Connect problem. So you can see, I need to go to Bowerman 1.1, 1.4. So if you're looking for solutions to the, you know, quiz questions or Connect assignments, you'll look here. That's the idea. I don't expect you to read all of that, especially since chapter 12 is way along in the course and there's concepts there that I haven't even taught you yet. But the thing is that the book teaches design and sampling later. Most books do that in statistics, and I teach sampling and design first. So there's going to be terminology here that we never learn yet. So that's why I'm providing it reference so that you can do the Connect exercises. For me, the Connect is just a last pass of the material, because you should be able to connect what you've learned in class when you're watching TV and watching the news and they're talking about statistic reports. You should be able to, you know, see terminology that's similar and understand how to interpret that. And that's the idea of the Connect. Also, I need some sort of a grade and feedback for you. So otherwise, I don't have anywhere in my schedule to grade anything. I'm using the Connect automated grading system.
Okay.
And I don't want to use the quizzes on my platform, because those they're harder. I think they're more challenging, and those are better for studying than they are more for exercising, right? They're harder than for testing you. I don't want to test you that hard yet. So
Thank you.
Sure, I hope that helps. Everyone has a different, you know, people like to read a textbook and then go into materials. The textbook for this course is really my notes, and my videos explain my notes. And
Thank you.
Yeah,
Because I didn't know what was the priority. In fact,
exactly. That's why, yeah, I'm trying
today, like the bold and what is not bold. I didn't know that. You know, it's a lot of material.
Yeah, it's a lot of material. Yeah, I am fine about repeating myself. You know, I'll say it again. Don't feel shy to ask me again. It's confusing. It's not confusing to me because I've been teaching this course for 20 years, but I know it looks like there's many parts, many moving parts. But yeah, priority number one, watch my conferencia. Those conferencia go with these notes. Then in this module, these are notes too here. Then if you don't understand completely, go through these and go page by page where there are gaps. Unfortunately, these are older, and I started using the TIBA 2+ instead, but that calculator should be explained up here in the conferencia. So I advise, if you're having trouble or you want to review things, make notes in the comments, and then you can return to the conferencia in your spot to see whatever it is that you want to review more efficiently. But yeah, so okay, so I'm going to teach the calculator. The things that I taught on the calculator were the stat mode in the calculator, and I also taught the weighted mean.
Also, Professor, I also saw that we in the conferencia one there was like a part with Excel, like
Yeah.
a formula. I think it was like parentheses, norm, dot, and something else. And I was also a
Well,
bit lost.
Excel, if I go into NOR, let me see. I maybe have to mark it because, yeah, because you only have to go, this is for the other, you need to stop for GDS, you stop like here,
Okay.
50 minutes. Then I go into unit 4 or module 4. Okay, so at about 46 minutes, you stop, like, so 50 minutes. I should make a note. I'll change that.
Okay.
Hold on, I have to share that. Okay, so the NOR is for the next module. Okay, I'm going to share again. Okay, so I just put here hasta 50 minutos, right? That's that one. All right, so let's see what else you guys want to talk about. Any of these topics that you want me to review?
No, I have a question as of the participation evaluation or points. If we don't have questions or like we're clear on everything, does the participation just include turning on the camera or like just acknowledge?
What I did last class was I asked questions and everybody participated in the chat. And then so I was able to see their participation, and if they said something like, you know, they were responding or asking questions, and so I could see, and I recorded the chat so I could see that. And then also I gave, so it was 4 points for participation in the chat, and then it was 1 point for your camera. So that's what I did. And this is honestly, this is for your own good, but it's also for me because I can defend myself when some students complain, and I can know that they were actually in class. I need a record that they were actually participating so I can defend myself. That if they're not there, what can I do? It's supposed to be an online course, yes, but I find that, I mean, it's statistics and it has a bad reputation, and I think this is the best way to resolve that, to give a little more communication, direct, face-to-face. It's not face-to-face, but at least arm's length communication. Stem and leaf diagram, GDS from homework. Okay, I'm writing down your questions. Any questions you have? So you do need to come prepared, so you can, yeah, ask me questions and then answer questions. Do you have an ethics class after this one?
No, today no.
Okay, well, we'll go to 11:30, and if anyone wants to ask me questions like office hour type, personal or private questions, I can stay back as well, right? So, okay, GDS 17 from homework. What else? So my goal.
Oh,
yeah. So no, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, I have a question of the second page of the definitions. Is the split stem and leaf plot of expanding data? Because in the stem it has 0 and I don't view any bills that begin with 0. So,
I,
So let me see, you're on the second page of the notes?
no, of the PDF.
Perdón, la persona que está hablando se escucha bien lejos.
Right now, do you hear
Ahora.
me? Okay.
Sí.
On the PDF that is below
The graphical representation and
the
descriptive
graphical,
statics.
exactly, GDS, the graphical representation and descriptive statics, GDS,
Mhm.
that one. On the second page, okay, the at the bottom is the split stem and leaf plot, that one.
I agree.
And I don't know why the stem, why it's 0 in the stem, because any bills begin with the 0. I don't know if I understand correctly how to do the stem and leaf.
Okay, just like labeling, when we were doing random selection, you have to look at the last number first, and there's 50 is the last, sorry, 50. The last number is 6949. It's the 50th value, and it's 6949, right?
Okay.
So,
okay.
so there's 2 digits. Like, we're gonna, first I explain in the video. Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
I explained in the video that we are going to round all of the numbers, to remove the decimals, because it's too much detail and it doesn't add, it actually prevents us from seeing a pattern. So too much detail, we decided to round it to 69. And then so it leaves 2 digits. When it's 2 digits, the last number here has to be 2 digits, 69, you see?
Okay.
But that forces that the first number, which is $2, also has a 0 in front, because all the numbers have to have the same number of digits. So that's why it's 02.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Better now? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like the labeling thing that we did before, but that's why.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything? Ask me anything. Oh, I should record. I did. Oh yeah, I'm recording. Sorry, I'm recording.
So Professor, according to that page, I have some questions too. Because I watched the videos, but being honest, I didn't understand too much about how to make the split stem and leaf blood of spendy data. So I don't know if you can explain briefly the question number 2 in that part that says how can the data help improve the store's making strategy? So I know it was on the USD or something video number 2. I'm not sure about the name, but I watched the video, but I didn't understand. So I don't know if you can explain a little bit more about the question number 2.
Okay.
I believe it's on the first, no, the V1 Unit 2 GTS page 8 or something. No, never mind. So sorry, my fault. I didn't take notes about which video are.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure it's here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
So you divide the 0 or 02 into 2 leaves, because you round from 1 to 4 and then from 5 to 9. And that's why we have two zeros and then 2 1s and then 2 2s.
Yeah. So I put it here. So can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see this.
Oh, no.
So I have classes here, and I have to go up to 6 9. So everything has to have 2 digits. I start at 0 because someone can go in the store and leave buying nothing. So I can start with 0. So I go from 0 to 4 and then 5 to 9, because there cannot be overlap, right? And then the first digit, after rounding all the values, every value just has 2 digits. And then I put them in order, and I put 0 2, and I'm going 0 4 and 5 to 9. And then I explain that if we do it another way, if we went from 0 to 9 and 10 to 19, so if I went by 10, it would look a little bit different, but I prefer this. I prefer this because this gives me 3 groups, and I can explain the 3 groups, or I can try. So as long as you can explain, if you can describe the graph or explain with logically the graph that appears, you can defend the graph, all right? So
But that something is a rule or is just your choice. So
exactly, it's your choice. It's your
yeah.
choice. There's no rule like that.
Got
The
it.
rule is that if the graphs are different, so I'll show you where the graphs are different. Let me go back here. So I explain so the notes include the notes here, sorry, these notes here, but also here. So here I have the problems, and the decimal data are the second problem. So here are the solutions I give, right? So when I talk about the decimal data, I show you this. And I say, if you go by 5, it looks like this. It has three peaks or 3 groups of data. If you go by 10, you have this. And it's hiding, the pattern is hiding inside of here. It's better to show it like this, and then you can defend it saying, look, these are 3 distinct groups. You could see it as maybe lower income consumers, middle income consumers, and high income consumers, or these are both consumers, and this is like a retail, this is more like maybe restaurants or retailers, like a business that's coming into the store and buying some product.
Yeah, more sales or low sales or.
Well, they could be going and buying wine, maybe. They could be going and buying, olive oil to do cooking, or so they're buying some specialty products or products that these ones are not buying. These guys are buying this, 4 days of groceries or something. So that's up to you to investigate, but it does show 3 groups worth of investigation. Here it's hidden in the going by 10. So I prefer this one. Now, how will I know what to do? What's the rule? The rule is to just do it in different with different scales. So I went by 5. Here I went by 10. Maybe if I still want to explore some more, I go by 2. I could go by 2 to see, and maybe keep the decimals and see if there's more of a pattern. So you're trying to look for patterns, and it's very exploratory. There's no there's no right answer, but you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. If you pick this one, you have to be consistent and explain why you like this one. All right.
So yeah, that was my next question. Of course, depends on you, but an example, if we have an exercise like this one on the exam, we can choose whatever we want, but we need to continue with that one until the end.
Yeah, once you chose one.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. You can't jump back and forth, right? Okay, so it's very, so in this class, I will usually tell you what to do. I'll say even in the assignment questions, I give you instructions, just follow the instructions. But in life, in reality, if you're going to do something like this, you have to make the decision. So you be patient and try it different ways, and then pick the one that makes that shows the 5 features of the distribution and that is meaningful to you, that you can explain, or you can say this is worthy of investigation. Okay, so it's very executive type decision you have to make about which one you choose. If you put this data into software, something like Stata or SPSS, it will give whatever it wants. And computers, they just, unless you program it to do something, it's just going to do something by default with no sense. It's not necessarily sensical. So that's why you need the person behind it, choosing or programming or planning. You can also do a stem and leaf in Excel, but it's very, it's not really nice. It's easier to do it by hand than to put it in Excel. But you can get a stem and leaf also out of Excel. I don't bother to show you because it's just as easy by hand. And stem and leaf is only useful for up to like 50 observations. Once you have more than 50 observations, you should make a histogram. And I explain the histogram as well.
I have a question
Yes.
regarding if you decide to do it by 5 or by 10th, it would the midpoint change? Because would the midpoint change? Because you have to count 25.
You're talking about the rules that's here, the in the notes. You're
Yeah,
referring to the rules, right? In here in the notes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So to find them in this part, yeah.
Okay.
To find the midpoint, you go from 1 to 25 because that's the
Halfway.
halfway. After you and at the bottom of in the split stem and leaf plot, you count from 2 to 25, and it gave me 21, but I don't know if it would be the same result if it was by tens. I don't know if you're understanding my question.
You're saying if you use the data here, the median is between the 25th and the 26th observation, right? But then if you go here, it should be the same thing, that you should be able to count 25 observations, 1, 2, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So between 21 and 21 should be the median. And that's rounded again, it's 21. But what I want you to do, I mentioned in calculating the statistics, you have to go back to the original number. So you should do it from here. If you don't have the original data, you just do that. Okay, did I answer your question? I don't know if I'm in the right track, Christina.
I did do the 5-number summary for this particular problem, but I used also this the stem and leaf plot to find the midpoint, which it actually is very close to the mean.
So you're talking about the midpoint.
Yeah, the midpoint was counting the.
But the median, not the midpoint. Median and midpoint. I'm not sure. Midpoint is a specific calculation that I did not discuss, but did you see that in the book or something? Midpoint is,
in the videos.
I don't think I called it the midpoint, but probably the median. The midpoint is going to be is a different calculation.
Okay.
But the median is the observation with 50% below and 50% above. That's a median. But maybe you're remembering I said midpoint because it's like in the middle. So I get it, but so the median is the average of the 2 middle observations. That's the median.
Okay.
And then when you average these, that will give you the median. Let me see. Let's go back here. And I was showing, okay, let's go. Okay, I'm going to just try and bring it up. No, this is not it. It's the other one. These are out of order. July 1st. Oh, it has to start here. No, I need to go from here. Okay, so it should be in this first one. And I calculate it. So I make I change the direction, right? Because usually we look at distributions on their horizontal. And then I go through and I calculate the 5-number summary. I explain the center. Okay, so this is where I explain the center. And I talk about the median. And do I calculate the median? I have to calculate the median. So these are the steps to calculate the median, M.
Uh-huh. Where I did it right or something.
Okay, so you take the two middle observations and you average them, and it's 20.74. And this, you when you do this, you have to use the original data. That's the point I'm making right now.
Got it.
Sometimes in the exercises, I don't give you the raw data. I just give you the stem and leaf, and you work with what you have. But the rule is that you should go back to the data, the raw data, to make any calculations. If you don't have it, you use what you have. If you have the stem and leaf plot, you extract from there. Okay, I hope that answers the question.
It does. And actually the midpoint I was talking about, which I understand what you're saying, is close to 21. So if
Similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, other questions, other things we need to review.
Yeah, I have other question. It's on the same file. It's on the page 22.
Of the notes?
Yes. It's in the 22. So never mind, 23. So
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. Okay,
It's
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not too far away anyway. So it's on the example number 1. I'm trying to do it with the video, but maybe I'm losing some points. So I don't know if you can explain a little bit.
Did you watch it? Did you watch sorry, did you watch the video, or did you watch both videos? Because there's also the one down here. Did you watch this
No,
one?
I just want the upper ones.
Okay. Because I have this one too. Yeah, I think I probably told you just to watch. Okay, sorry, we have to see.
Yeah, the first 2. So
we have to see her.
Don't worry. So I don't know if I have, I don't know, some issues, but I prefer read first the notes and then watch the videos.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
So
well, this is not even the right video. Page 20.
It's closed. That page is the 22 or 20. Yeah, 21.
I think maybe the numbering might have changed at some point because I did revisions. Old exam problems.
No, it's
it's here. It's here.
One, yeah.
It's here. It starts on 23. So anyway, there's an explanation here, but we can talk about that. That's fine. I don't mind. What happened here? So yeah, so I'm gonna go through it here. So I'll talk about it now.
Yeah, the part is easy, but
I made these videos like 10 years ago when when the iPads were not that great and the transmission was so slow. And anyway, that's why I'm trying to remake them with the classes and taking excerpts. All right, so let's do it again. Okay, I'll put it on my list because first I'm going to use, I'm going to show the calculator. Then
I mean, yeah, if you want, you can continue with other things. It's fine.
No, I'm just putting it on my list.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show the calculator first. Then I'm going to do GDS 17 from the homework. And then I'm going to do the weighted mean. Anything else? I'll take those 3 for now. And then you guys can let me know. Oh, there's some questions here. Sorry, in the chat. Let me see. Okay, page 18, atypical values and symmetrical distribution. Elizabeth, the standard deviation, if you don't understand, you have the video. I think I do a very good job in the video, if I do say so for myself. There's a video on the standard deviation here. Like, it just takes so long. That's why I made a video. We can talk about it, but did you watch the video down here? Where is it?
No, I was just like, do we have to memorize the equation? Because there is an equation, right? X minus mean.
Yeah, but
divided
I want
by
you to, I
standard.
want, my goal is that you understand the standard deviation. Yeah, you should memorize it, but in fact, I cannot force you to memorize it because exams are gonna be by distance. I'm gonna review how to get it out of your calculator very easily. But, I need to, sorry. I have everything here because it's too hard to teach with Brave on. So yeah, this whole video here explains it step by step. And then I have also the notes that have it all written out. I think you need to understand the table calculation, and that helps you understand the formula. But in the end, you can just use your calculator to calculate the standard deviation.
I was freaking out
Yeah,
when
I'd like to.
it said the square root. And I said, I'm supposed to know this, but I don't remember. But
Yeah,
there's
but did you
there's a
watch,
calculator.
Christina, did you watch this video? Did it help you at all? Did you watch this one yet? Because
No.
this one goes step by step, and I probably did not do that in the conferencia just because it takes up, like, it's a 20-minute video. It takes up a lot of time, and I already have a video, so go watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to advise for today if you didn't, but I will see what we can do. So standard deviation weighted, outliers, okay.
Professor, for me it was really helpful, and I did it part by part because the calculator isn't the same, but it was really helpful.
Thank you. Well, you know what we can do is we can do this with this calculator. Well, the point is this is just the table method. But yeah, the calculator I can teach you. Anyway, that was going to be my first thing, to show you how to do this in the calculator, mean and standard deviation. The next thing is to look at problem 17 from GDS. And then we can talk about standard deviation and the weighted standard deviation. Oh, sorry. So first the weighted mean, and then standard deviation, weighted standard deviation, and then the outliers. Okay, so we have 5 things to do. And we have 1.5 hours. All right. So yeah, this video, I think the standard deviation video is critical. Do not skip it. Because I explained the formula, and then the formula makes sense, and you're less likely to forget or use it incorrectly if I ask you to use it. But in the end, most of the time you'll just use your calculator. So let's start there. So let me set up my, oh, I have to get the cable. The calculator. Just a moment.
Professor, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
I'm not sure what happened. Can you hear me now? Yeah, it looks like it's working now. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Oh, funny. I turned off my microphone. Okay, hold on. I don't know, must have hit it when I moved it. Let me turn it back on because it's a better sound. Now you can hear me. All right. So let's go back. So we want to solve this problem in the notes, and that's on the videos. And it gives us, we're given n, which is the sample size, is 5. And here are the 5 observations. We usually use the notation xi, and we understand, I didn't put it here, but that we have like observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are like the labels, right? That's what the I stands for. And so this is the first one, the second one, etc. So now I want to put this into my calculator. So the calculator, the way the calculator works is it has memory worksheets, and there's 4 of them. In this class, we're only going to use one of them, the stats memory worksheet, or the worksheet that's in memory. And so when I clear the screen, I just clear using this button here, clear CE or clear. And but to clear the worksheet, you actually have to be in the worksheet. And I'll explain that at the end because I don't have data in there. So I'm going to hit second data to enter my observations. And you notice it has the same notation X1 or X01 as I have over here, right? In the notes. So I'm going to put the data in. I'm going to put 2 in by hitting enter and scrolling down. So I'm putting it into the worksheet. And now it asks for Y. That's because I'm actually able to enter 2 columns of data in my worksheet, but I only have 1 variable right now that I'm working with. So I'm going to skip that. Is that okay? But we're going to skip over that, but we're going to use that later when we get to linear regression. So we skip that, we go to the second one. So now we hit 8, enter, and we go down and we scroll past Y, which is another column. We're not going to enter data in that column. The next one is X3 or 10. And you scroll past the Y. And then the next one is the 4th one, so 16. And then the last one is 5. Scroll past that, then 5, enter down. Any questions? So I can review my data. X1 is 2, X2 is 8, X3, oh, no one warned me. I have to fix that. Okay, so I'm going to fix that 10, enter down. I had a typo in there. So I skip over that. 4th one is 16. 5th one is 5. Okay, I'll give you a time. Try that. Enter that into your calculator. I have to delete 6. There's no 6th observation. So there should be 4 or 5 observations. Shouldn't be anything in 6.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. I didn't get like the first buttons to have the X and Y's.
Second data. Second data. That turns on the stat mode of the calculator. And notice, even if I clear the screen, it doesn't disappear. Second data, it stays there. It stays saved. That's why I like the statistical mode. I don't lose any of my data.
Oh,
Sorry, question. I have a question.
Yeah.
In your, I know you're using the app, but in yours says X01 in my calculator. I don't have that one. Like
What
X.
does it say? What calculator do you have? The same one?
The same one, yeah.
It should
I
say
believe,
X01.
yeah.
I have a physical one here. Are you
So
sure?
I press the second, right?
Yeah, second data.
Data
Turn it
where is it
on.
better?
Turn it on, second data. Yeah, I have the fiscal one and it says X01. Which
Me too.
calculator? Check, which one do you have? Verify.
The same one, the BA second plus.
But Texas Instrument?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Oh, no. I'm doing something wrong.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Not good, but I mean, it's good. We figured it out.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So, and then you go to enter and then
Go down like you would in an Excel spreadsheet. Scroll down.
And we leave the Y's with
In one.
value.
Yeah, you just leave the Y's with 1. That there's nothing there. We leave it. Don't put 0, just leave 1 there. So that is yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back.
Ok, a ver si todo el mundo está haciéndolo igual. Vamos a poner second, vamos a poner data. Ok, ya yo tenía la X01.
Ajá.
Entonces empecé 2, enter
Ajá.
y la flechita para abajo. Y después,
Exacto. Hasta que llegues a la próxima X. Las Y las dejas sin nada.
es que no estoy viendo dónde están las
Ah,
Y.
O sea,
ya.
las dejas con lo que sale en uno.
¿Y
Sí,
cómo
tiene
se borra, cómo se borra la información que ya teníamos?
NPI, no tengo idea.
Le das a
Porque
second,
se me-
le das a second y hay una tecla a mano izquierda abajo que dice clear work.
pero
Pero
hay que
eso te
darle
borra todo.
Eso te
hay que darle
borra
a second.
todo. Eso te borra todo.
No le tendrías que dar second, ya tan
No, porque
pronto le
exacto.
das
Bueno, porque
clear
ya
work,
está en, es
no se
cierto, ya
fijan
está
en
en
mi pantalla, yo creo que no la ven.
Pero por eso no hay algo que te
Aquí.
borre el número que acabas de poner. Eso te va a borrar todo, right?
Exacto.
Bueno, sí, el clear, el C, no, eso lo va a borrar todo. Dame un segundo, déjame intentarlo.
No, never mind. Es que hay uno que dice clear arriba, ok, 2 botones debajo de off. Hay uno que dice clear TVM.
Sí, lo veo.
Pero no
Sí.
sé. Ok, voy a tratar, espérate.
Pero a veces también cuando le damos,
No,
si le
never mind.
damos clear work, nos va a salir otra vez lo que habíamos hecho.
Es verdad, eso es lo que
Anterior.
pasa, que no sé cómo borrar lo que ya hice anteriormente.
Okay, so
Yo creo que es en la flecha.
to clear
Le das para-
to
o
clear
sea,
everything, you just hit second. So once you're inside, just to clear it up, you say second, clear work, and that will clear it. Second, clear work. That will clear the worksheet. You can start over.
Okay.
Exacto.
Second
Bueno, eso
data,
fue.
and I go 2, enter down, down, 8, enter down, down, 10, enter down, down, 16, enter down, down, 5, enter down, down.
So, Jaime, si le da clear work y no le da a la flecha, te borra lo que acaba, o sea, no te borra todo, te borra la X que acabas de poner.
Yeah, you just wanna, if you wanna just erase one of them, you can hit second, delete, and that will clear one. It should have. Did it do it? No, it didn't do it. Second, delete. No, it didn't. Second, insert. I guess it doesn't work that way. That only works for cash flows. So what you have to do is just put a number on top. Just cover it up. 2, 1, 16. I screwed up. This is number 8. I don't know why I have 16. And then 3 is, all my numbers are, because I deleted, it did delete. Oh, I made a mess. Okay, second, clear work. It deleted, but moved all the numbers up. It's like Excel. You delete a row on Excel, everything goes up. So yeah, don't do that. So, so second data, and I start entering 2, enter down, down, 8, enter down, down, 10, enter down, down, 16, enter down, down, and 5. Okay, now, ready? Not yet?
Nope.
Okay.
What are we supposed to be seeing? I have Y, 0, 4, and 5.
Well, I'm waiting for everybody. So you guys ready for the next part? Because all you're going to see is your values with the scrolling, that you put the values inside. That's all we have to see right now. And then we hit second stat, and that gives you the statistical results. It says LIN. What does LIN stand for? What does it signify?
Linear? I don't know.
It stands for linear because we're going to make linear regression estimates. That's what this is for. But we only entered one variable, not two. So we're only going to get the results for X, not for Y. So it tells us there's 5 observations. X bar is 8.2. S is 5.3. And sigma is 4.7. And then it shows me the Y value. So mean of Y is 1. The standard deviation is 0 because remember all the Y's were 1, so there's no variation. And then standard deviation of the population is 0. And it tells me that this information that's not relevant because I did not enter 2 variables. I just entered 1. So we're just going to take this result. So that's $8.20 for our problem. And then what is the difference between this one and this one? Which one do I pick for standard deviation? This one or this one?
That one.
So let's write them down. So we have S and sigma. So which one do I want? How many people vote for S?
Should we put it in the chat? I don't know.
Yeah. Some people are just putting it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like, okay, so far people are saying S. Some people have said mu. Okay, so mostly people said S, right? It is S. So what's the difference?
One is for the population and the other one is for the sample, right?
Exactly. That was Orlando?
Yes.
So, yeah, so the issue is that this one is this formula. This one, if you remember our first discussion, any statistics are calculations from a sample. So that's a statistic. If we had the whole population, we could calculate the parameter sigma, but it would look like this. What is this? This is the same idea where I'm averaging the square deviations from the mean, but if I have the population, then I have the true mean, mu. And then I have the actual observations and I have all of the observations. So I have the population size. This is the real formula of if I had all the data, but it's unlikely that I will always have all the data. Sometimes I might have all the data. If like I talked about the NBA scores, I might have all NBA stats because there's money in that and resources. And so they have all that data. But in a sample, which we're working with, we only have this. Now notice, so this is the correct one. Let's say that first. So it's the sample standard deviation. But this is the population standard deviation. Okay, so the sample standard deviation is larger than the population standard deviation. Will that always be the case? So what's the calculator doing? The calculator has no idea, right? It just takes your data and it puts it in this formula, and then it puts it in this formula. It doesn't know if you've entered, there's no way to tell the calculator, I'm entering a sample or I'm entering a population. Okay, there's no way to tell it. In software, using statistical software, you could do that, but we're just using you know, a $40, $30 calculator and or a $16 app, and it doesn't know. So we have to pick which one it is. If the calculator makes this calculation, it's treating the mean as X bar because it doesn't have mu really, but it's acting like the data gives you X bar. That's what it'll put here. And then it will reduce, it'll divide by 1 less than the total. What happens if you do it this way rather than this way is that the sample standard deviation will be a little bit bigger because you're dividing by a smaller number. So this will always be a little bit bigger. In that way, it is more likely to describe the full distribution, like it'll capture all the data in the full distribution. I don't know if you remember, or you had a chance to watch my video where I'm explaining the Conferencia video where I'm explaining how to use the mean and standard deviation. So that's where I explain that you want to try and cover most of the data using this from the mean. So anyway, we pick S. Like I'm not in this course going to use sigma unless, you know, I'm clear it's a population. You're always going to use S, but they give it to you just in case you are entering population level data, all the population, in other words. Any questions about that and this formula? So this is all in the notes, but maybe you missed it. Or why do we divide by n-1? I explained that the observations that that you got in a sample, they all have they add a degree of freedom. However, when you make this calculation X bar, that degree of randomness is reduced by 1 because you've connected all the values in this estimate of the true mean. And in statistics, a correction is made when you reduce a degree of randomness. A correction is made when you make the average. So whenever you see this symbol, the sigma symbol, you're making an average, okay? And this is sometimes modified from the total to 1 less or 2 less, depending on how many parameter estimates are inside your estimate. So this is an estimate of sigma. This one is an estimate of mu. So when you use an estimate inside of an estimate, you lose a degree of freedom. When you put 2 estimates inside of an estimate, what did I just say? You lose a degree of freedom. If you put 2 estimates inside of an estimate, then you lose 2 degrees of freedom. It works like that. More information than you need to know, but maybe some of you are curious what's going on here. So that's what's happening. So basically it's an average. It's an average. I'm saying with quotations, it's an average because I want a measure of variation from what? From the expected value. The expected value is the mean. $5, sorry, it's $8.20 was the mean here. And the variation from $8.20, you can see some are below, some are above, some are very, very close, right? So this one's below, this one's below. So 2 below and 2 above and 1 very close by. And we're going to calculate, treating this like a symmetric distribution, we calculate the mean, and then we calculate the standard deviation using the mean. And this says that the data, 1 deviation from $8.20, you will find most or the majority of the data will be in between those two. So I don't know if you saw that discussion, but I say what I do with this, I say X bar plus or minus S will give me most of the data. So I calculate $8.20 plus or minus $5.31. And I make an interval. So what are the limits of that interval? What's the lower bound? What's the upper bound? You can put it in the chat.
The maximum and the minimum?
Well, the lower and upper bound. You add and subtract. You subtract
Okay.
531, then you add and put it in here.
Professor, just to double check, what exercise is that one?
This is just page 20. What is this page again? Let's see, 32? Is that possible?
32.
It's the
32 in the
10, page
notes.
10, sorry, page 10 of 32. I saw 32 there.
Then on the samples or the notes.
Other notes.
Oh, thank you.
So it's 10. And in the videos, it's 10 on the video V3.
Are we assuming that it's symmetrical, or how can you tell that it's
Yes,
symmetrical?
that's a good question. I did say that, but yeah, I did say that. We're assuming it's a symmetrical to do this. Otherwise, you can't really interpret it this way. But yeah, we assume we only have 5 observations. You have 1 in the middle. You have 2 above and 2 below. We're going to assume symmetrical.
So there's where within this interval we have 68% of the population, right?
Just give me the interval and then we'll look at it, okay? Just give me the
Okay.
upper and lower bound and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so people are writing it
Okay.
here. Good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm going to use your numbers because there's some stability. Okay, so let's go through it and see 289, 1351. Anyone has a different value, let me know. So I've just subtracted from $8.20 and I've added to $8.20, 531. And then I look through here. So which values fall in this interval? Does $8, okay, $2 does not, right? $8 does, $10 does, 16 does not, and $5 does. So that means 3 out of 5 fall in this interval, which is what percentage? 3 out of 5. It's 60%. So in general, the majority of observations will be with 1 standard deviation. So it gives you an idea, just using 1 standard deviation, how spread out the numbers are, and that you'll catch a majority of them with 1 standard deviation. So I showed you how to use your calculator to calculate the statistics in stat mode. I've done an interpretation. If the data is symmetrical, or we're assuming it's symmetrical, to be able to interpret using the mean and standard deviation. If you do not have symmetry, what do you use? How do you describe the mean and standard? Sorry, how do you describe the center and the spread of a distribution if it is not symmetrical?
The median?
The median and the 5-number summary, right? The 5-number summary with the median inside. Right, good. So, okay, so do 2 standard deviations now. Give me 2 standard deviations. What are the limits? What are the upper and lower bounds of that? One got crooked.
Sorry, Professor, again, how can I delete everything on the calculator, not just the step?
Second clear,
Mhm.
second clear work. Oh, you have to go, first you have to be in data. You have to hit data.
Mhm.
Second clear work. It'll clear everything. Got it?
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. All right, so you guys have some numbers there for me. Good. So we have negative 242, comma, 1882. How many observations fall in that interval? Does 2 fall in the interval? Yes. Does 8? Yes. Does 10? Yes. Does 16? Yes. Does 5? Yes. So it's 5 out of 5. In 2 standard deviations, 100% of the data is captured. Okay, so the standard deviation, the higher the standard deviation, the more spread out the data, because within 1 standard deviation, you should be able to calculate the majority of the data. Yeah, 100%. Yes, be careful with that minus. All right, so I don't, different data sets are spread out in a different way, but this one is you capture everything within 2 standard deviation. The main thing is that the S within 1, you're going to calculate, you're going to capture, there's like a statistical law, say, I guess it's, well, they call it a rule, Chebyshev rule, but it within 1 standard deviation, you should capture the majority of the data. Okay. Now this is different from the next, we're going to talk in the next module about the normal distribution. The normal distribution is spread out in a specific way. A normal distribution should be where 68% is in 1 standard deviation from the mean. 95% is in 2S standard deviations of the mean, and 99.7% is in 3 standard deviations of the mean. Our distribution here of this very small data set is not normal. It doesn't have the same pattern at all. We're going to spend more time with that during this week. I'm trying to assess, you guys are a little bit behind. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems you're a little bit behind with this material. I do have on the schedule that you need to work with the normal distribution. So I'm going to encourage you to catch up as fast as you can this weekend. I know it's a long weekend, but you guys signed up to be in a iMBA program. So you got to study. You got to wrap this up this weekend and then begin normal distribution to be on schedule. Okay. Because it's tight. And I'll do whatever I can to assist you there. Any questions about what we just did here? So I taught you how to put this in your calculator, get out the mean and standard deviation, and then make an interpretation using the data. I explained the difference between the population and sample standard deviation, and that I kind of, well, I hope you follow that why there's an N-1 there. It's an adjustment to make sure that because, well, statisticians tested this and they found they need to put N-1 there for the reason I explained. In the end, what it means is that your S will be better at capturing most of your data in 1 standard deviation. Otherwise, it's considered to be a biased number anyway. Bear with me there. It doesn't really matter that you understand that perfectly, but just that this is the formula. Now, I have the video about this formula that explains everything. And I really, it's 20 minutes. I don't want to repeat what's there already. So please watch what is called V3 on your own. It's V3 in the list of the playlist of edited videos. So I'm gonna put it here. Watch. Okay, and it'll explain the origin of this formula, which is an average of the square deviations from the mean. Essentially, why is there a square? Because there's a square, we have to take a square root. Why do we have to do that? Because these values in our problem here, they're all dollars, right? Everything is dollars. If I start squaring things, I'm getting something called dollar squared, which makes no sense. We don't know what that is, dollar squared. So we need to take a square root to eliminate the dollar squared. So my video just explains why we have to do that.
I have a question. Don't we square it for the most of the numbers to be positive, and then you take it back?
That's why I explained, yeah, because the way that the mean is calculated as the center of the data. It's the balancing point of the data. And so the data will be balanced around it in a way that you're going to have some values below, some values above, in perfect balance. So if you take the deviations, you're going to have some are going to be positive deviations because they're above, and some are going to be negative deviations because they're below. And it turns out if you average them all, you're going to get zero all the time. So you lose the magnitude. What you really want is how far away. You don't care if one's above or below. You care about the magnitude, how far away they are. So by squaring, you remove the sign and you make them all positive. If you didn't understand anything I'm saying, just watch the video. I explain everything step by step, but it's a 20-minute video and I don't want to spend 20 minutes when you guys can watch it for 20 minutes on your own. So that's what's happening here. Okay, so lots of going on, but it's basically it's a measure of deviation. That's just an average. That's what we've done. We've averaged the deviations from the mean, but we had to do something in the interim because of that issue of the mean being perfectly in the middle and creating deviations that are positive and negative. We need to remove the sign so that they don't sum. When we make an average, they don't sum to zero. Okay, question.
Yes, Professor. So it's not a normal distribution, so it's not symmetrical.
No,
right?
no, that's not it, but that's a good question. Okay, so normal distribution is a special case of symmetric distributions. So if you think about it, like if this is like the whole space of symmetric distributions, like normal distributions is like this. It's just a set. Okay, so, and then inside there's something called the standard normal distribution. It's very specific. But yeah, it's so just because something's not normal doesn't mean it's not symmetric. Are you following my graph here? So it could be any other thing, any other kind of distribution. Okay, but this one in specific, it's not normal. It's just a symmetric distribution. Well, we assumed it. We don't have much data to go on, but we said it's balanced, roughly symmetric, and interpreted. And I do this problem because this is kind of what data looks like. There's small data sets you work with. You want to be able to say something. I've found like the smallest I could find to draw conclusions to make the point. But in small data sets, you have to make a graph, make a decision. It looks symmetric. I'm going to calculate the mean and standard deviation, and then so let's see on the list, what do we have next? Okay, GDS 17. I just wanted to say, so if I keep going, if I did X bar plus or minus 3S, that would still cover 100%, right? Because 2 standard deviations will cover 100%. All of the data is in 2 standard deviations of the mean. So here's my question. Are there any outliers in this data?
Don't think so.
What's the rule for outliers when the data are symmetric? Right, the rule is, and it's there in the notes, but some people haven't gotten there yet, maybe. The rule is if data is symmetric, then outliers will be 3 standard deviations outside. Okay, Carolina, and you have a question, I'll answer it in a second. So in this case, well, all the data is within 2, so there are no outliers. So for symmetric data, I'll make a note and I'll put it in red. Okay, so we have no outliers here. That's the rule for symmetric data. For skewed data, we have a different rule that someone wrote earlier. And that's the IQR 1.5 times IQR rule that we'll talk about because somebody asked me to do that. So Carolina asked me, in terms of the exam, do we have to tabulate the standard deviation or just obtain the result? So you need to know this formula. You need to know this formula because I have questions about calculating the standard deviation, and sometimes I give you tables, and so you have to understand how the table works. So you need to understand, but me asking you to perform the calculation manually with a table, that if I even do that, I might ask you once, so it's not a big deal. But no, you're going to use your calculator most of the time like I described. Okay. So, but you do need to understand this, and you should, I mean, you must watch video number 3 to understand this formula if you didn't understand what I just described. Okay. So next, GDS 17 from the homework. Let me see. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, I'll share it here. Oh, there's some typos here because I went from PDF. So that should say stem plot. Okay, consider the following back-to-back stem plot for male and female scores with 20 and 18 observations respectively. Which of the following statements is true? First of all, let's look at this back-to-back. So I have explained the back-to-back stem plot for Maris and Ruth in the Conferencia videos. So to make a back-to-back stem plot, we put females on the right and males on the left. Now, the numbers go out. Notice the numbers here go higher from the center out, and from the center out on the right side as well. And okay, let's see what's true here. It's back to back. So what number is this? What number is this? What are the values here? Just so for people who are still trying to understand the stem plot, what is 7? So this is 70 and 75, 88, 91 and 92. So on this side you have 104. Do you see that? 108, 109. And on the other side you have 101, 103, 109. Do you see that? You guys see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay. Which of the following statements is true? The median of male scores is larger than that of female scores. All right. Look at the males for a moment. What shape is that distribution, would you say? for males.
Right, skew?
Okay, so it looks like it might be a little bit right skew because you have more data on the right. On the left, it's a little more spread out. How would you check? How can you check if, how would you verify if it's right skewed when it's something like so flat like that? Right, so you can take, okay, so people are saying right skewed. So you can take the mean and the median and see if they're the same number. If they're very close or the same number, you can say that it is symmetric. It kind of looks really flat on the right side and more of a mound, more what do I say? It's more compact on the left side. So for people who are still trying to follow here, so this is going to be the left and this is going to be the right because the numbers are going higher on a timeline. So calculate the mean and the median and see which one it is. Okay, or just calculate the median for men and median for women to answer this question. But I was trying to say about the shape, if you want to know the shape, because the fact is you'll have a better idea of what you're staring at. But in fact, to answer A, you just need the median of men and median women. Let's just do that. And we can also do the calculate the mean of the males just for curiosity. I haven't read all of the questions here, but okay. So what's the median for men? How will you figure that out? There's 20 observations. So 20 plus 1 over 2, right? So that's going to be between the 10th and the 11th observation. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry, I lost track. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So between 1, 1, 4 and 1, 1, 5 is the median for men. And where's the median for women? I mean, just looking at this, you can see it's going to be lower. It's going to be higher, sorry, for women, right? Because the data for men up here is the median for men in this one here, and the women's data begins there. So what's the median for women, just to verify? So 18 plus 1 divided by 2 is it's going to be 9.5 or 9, between 9 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's between 137 and 140. Christina, isn't it between two numbers, 137 and 140? Let's do that again.
Alright.
One,
Alright.
two, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 137. And so it's
We cannot hear you, Vanessa.
Now?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 138.5 is the sum of both.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
the sum of both.
138.5. So then which one is higher? So this is false. A is false because female scores are higher. And you can just see it. You can see it because the data for female starts later. So the median will be higher. And one of the male scores is an outlier. All right. So now we have to find the Qs, the quartiles for this. Okay, so we found the median for men. I'm going to write some things here. It was 114.5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now get Q1 and Q3. So that's going to split the data in two parts, starting here. So now you have to find the median of this part and then the median of the other part. So the median, so dividing the data in two parts, you have 10. So 10 plus 1 divided by 2 is 5.5. So we have to go between the 5th and the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you're counting correctly. You got to count this way. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Between 5 and 6 is between 92 and 104. Tell me if I'm wrong. So the average between 92 and 104. That's going to be Q1 is a 98. And we need, because we think it's right skewed, actually we need Q3. So we don't really need Q1 after doing all that. Let's do Q3. So starting, so we thought, well, we needed to find, we have the middle between these two. So then we're going to count now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So between 140 and 146 is Q3. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have to take a deep breath and endure, because they're tedious calculations that maybe you're not used to, but you guys will get through. You just need to be patient and take the time to do it. It's not hard. It's just tedious. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. So halfway between them, 140 and 146. Yeah, 143. If I did it right. So now what do you do with that information? Now you take Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So we need Q1 to get the IQR anyway. So that's, we have that. So what will that do? That'll give me a threshold. Anything beyond that are outliers. There might not be an outlier, but let's check. This is actually a very long problem. But it's not hard. You have to solve a lot of problems. A lot of sub problems to concluding.
Is it 75.5 the lower and the higher 210?
So okay, so let's get IQR first. Let's do step by step. So we have 98, right? So IQR is equal to Q3 minus Q1. And that's going to be
45?
43 minus 98 equals 45.
Yes.
Okay, and then we take 1.5. So we're going to expand. And if you guys don't know what I'm doing, there's all those videos in the playlist to see about outliers. So 1.5 times IQR is equal to 1.5. Oops. 1.5 times 45 equals
67.5.
67.5. And then we're
Yes.
gonna add that to, thanks Catalina. So we're gonna add that to Q3. And Q3 was 143. So Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR is equal to 143 plus 67.5, which is a very large number. Let's see if we pass it
210.5.
to 10.5.
Yes.
Anyone see any errors? Let us know. So 210.5, which is beyond the table. So that means that all the values are inside. Okay, so then you're going to do the same for females. So what this does is it gives you a range of acceptable numbers that that are not too far away. So you're using what is far? Well, you're going to base the spread of the distribution that is skewed. We've agreed that these are both skewed. We're gonna base the spread of the distribution on the middle 50% of data, and we're gonna say that's sort of regular or normal, like not in the normal distribution sense, but it's regular. That's how spread out the data should be. So we're going to use that Q3 minus Q1 or the IQR as a range to measure the rest of the data. So it's going to be like our baseline, right? So we're going to say, okay, let's add it to Q3, and anything beyond there is really outside the range of data or outside the regular pattern of data. It's very strange or bizarre relative to the rest of the data. Statistics is about relative measures and expected values. That's what we're doing all the time. We're always trying to relate numbers to each other for what is big and what is small. So in this case, 210, it crosses over all the data. It means there's nothing exterior to it. There's nothing outlying that spread. So now do it for females and let me know what the answer is. I'll let you guys do that on your own. So far, we haven't got the answer, right? So B is wrong. A is wrong. Let's see. Let's check C. Put your answer in the chat, what you find. Okay, so how's it going? Different numbers. Okay, so for female, Tatiana writes Q1 is 125, 120.5. And Q3 is 159.5 and IQR is 39. So 1.5 times IQR. I can do this on my iPad, I guess. So for females, can you guys validate Tatiana's numbers? So if these are the numbers, at this point, I didn't check it, but can you verify? Oh, we have different numbers. Q2, Q3. Catalina has different numbers. Oh, wow, totally different numbers. Okay. Okay, let me do this. So for females, I'm counting for the Q2 was equal to between 9 and 10, right? So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 137 and 140. And then that divides the data in 2 halves. Q1 is equal to, so then I have 9 observations, so 10, so 9, because it cuts everything in half. I cut in half at the median. The median was not a value of the observation, so then I can just divide 18 into 2, so that's 9. And then using, so for the quartiles, n equals 9. And then n plus 1 over 2 is 5. So the 5th observation is where I find Q1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 126. And then Q3 is in the second half, starting at 140, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 154. Okay, so I'm getting the same as Carolina. Sorry, Tatiana, but thank you for showing us your result. So then I'm going to take IQR, which is Q3. If you guys are not trying this, I don't know when you're going to try it. You should be trying it now because I'm here. If you have any questions, you can ask me, but I don't need to do this. I know how to do this. You need to practice. So, it's 28. So 1.5 times IQR is equal to 1.5 times 28. So what we're doing is we're expanding the regular pattern of the data to 42. And then what we're going to say is, so like we're going to take this difference from Q1, which is 126 to 154, and we're going to add a little bit more, or a half, to it. I'll do it this way. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put that here. And now I'm going to use this distance. So this distance was originally 28. But now I'm going to extend to 42 and use that as the spread of the data. And I'm going to add that to Q3. So I'm going to add on here 42 to Q3. So 154 plus 42 is 196. You guys don't look like you're participating. Are you confused? You don't know what to ask? Or you're waiting for me to give you the answer? I'm sure I've done this multiple times in the videos. So I'm just doing it again, but basically that's what you do. And you see the largest point. So there are some numbers outside the largest point, right? So 96 is, what's 84, Carolina? So any values beyond, are there any values beyond 196? Just 200. So 200 is out here.
One, yeah, one.
So just one. Okay, if you guys are behind, delaying further, it's not going to help you. You got to start practicing. Okay, so that's what you're doing. So you're going to find the 5-number summary, use it to get an IQR, extend the Q3 by the 1.5 times IQR to give you an idea of how far the data can spread before you start saying there's something unusual, and there is in the case of female. So the answer is C. Is that correct? Let's see. Let's go down to see the answers.
Professor, I have a question.
About this?
Yeah, in this example, do we have to calculate the Q1 minus 1.5, or don't we?
What I did was, it was 1.5 times IQR.
Yeah, but do we have to calculate the lower side?
Oh, okay. Oh, the minus part. No, because there's nothing there. The outlier is on the other side, because that's a good question. Why aren't we checking on the other side? Because we can see that there's nothing strange there. The data is uniform and attached. It's only on the right side that we see something strange here. So an outlier, in simple words, is a value set apart from the rest of the data. And that's what that 200 looks like, doesn't it? It's away from the data. So then we use the statistical rule to test if it is in fact a statistical outlier. But in the vernacular, in English, or in, just in speaking to people, this looks like an outlier. It's standing out away from the rest of the data. The 200 is away. So let's see if C is the right answer, because that was a lot of work. So 17 is C. Woohoo! So practice this. I never know, right? Because I just try. It would be awful if I made a mistake. That's why I was begging you guys to try it with me. So, because I haven't tried this in years, but I mean, I should be able to do them. It's easy to make mistakes too. And I don't want to confuse you. Okay, any questions about this, about what we did, the steps involved? How would we check D? What would we do to check D?
It will be the standard variation without the square, la raíz cuadrada.
Well, yeah, it seems like we should just take the standard deviation, but remember what we said? When do we use the standard deviation? It's a good point, but when do we use the standard deviation? We use the standard deviation when the data are
It's symmetrical.
When you're sampling.
when they're symmetric, right?
Oh.
But yeah, when it's symmetric, either if it's the population or the sample, it's when the data is symmetric, or when the histogram or the distribution looks symmetric. In this case, both of them are roughly skewed, aren't they? So what should we do? How will we check variability in skewed distributions? What do you do when the distribution is skewed? You get the 5-number summary and the IQR. The one with the larger IQR is the more variable one. All right. So make a note about that, because I don't think I have that written anywhere explicitly, but when the data are, I mean, I can't answer every question it can't address all the situation, but you should understand, since the data are skewed, you cannot use the standard deviation like you would normally, because it's going to be biased by the extreme values. So instead, we get the 5-number summary of both, and we compare those. There is more variability in the female scores. Now, just looking how spread out they are, do you see that it's wrong? It's false? Which one is more spread out? The men, right? It's much more spread than the women.
And the males.
So that's all. You just look at it. But if you wanted a statistical measure, you shouldn't use standard deviation. You should use the 5-number summary, and you'll see that with the IQR will be bigger for men. Actually, we calculated it, right? So the IQR for women was 28, and the IQR for men, we did back here.
39.
Yeah. It was it 39 or 45?
No, 45.
Yeah, so it was bigger. Okay. Thank you, Carolina. All right, so IQR for females was 28, and IQR for males was 45. And you can just see it visually. I just put it in the chat. I put all that in the chat. Okay, next. Next was the weighted mean. Okay, so we did talk about outliers. Did I satisfy the discussion of outliers? Because someone asked me to talk about it. So I talked about it here with in the skewed case, and the symmetric case, you just check if it's 3 outside, 3 standard deviations away.
Yeah, I'm clear about that.
Good. Okay. So then the only thing is the weighted mean and the weighted standard deviation. Let's go back to the calculator for a second.
Professor, my question about the page 23, you can skip it.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Good. One moment, I'm just adjusting my contact lens. I don't think I'm going to succeed. Let's see. Okay, so let's do the weighted mean. Here, this is the one here. I'm going to open it on my iPad as well. All right. So the weighted mean. So we have a situation where we want to average numbers together, but the numbers that we're averaging do not have equal importance. Okay, so they have unequal importance. Let's pretend they had the same value, like the same weight or the same importance. In this problem, assignments are worth 10%, midterms 10, quizzes 10%, midterm 30, and final 50. So let's ignore the first sentence and let's just go with the other numbers. So 90% was earned on assignments, 100% was earned on quizzes, 60% was earned on the midterm, and 50% on the final. If I just took those and I divided by 4, that would be the mean, the sample mean, right? So what would you get? This is page 24. Oh, you said you didn't want me to do it. You were just saying don't want me to do it. So should I skip that, or does anybody want to see this? Sorry, I just realized I had it here and then you said don't bother. I thought it was something else. If you want me to continue, I'll continue because I always have something to say.
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just say one thing. Now you got me started. Okay, so this is 75%.
No.
If you add it, divide by 4, right? But what have we assumed? We assumed that when you do an average, you're basically assuming that each component has equal weight. In other words, if I write it as a fraction, if you don't like fractions, I can make it a decimal. I'll just get rid of the percentage. I'll just say 90, and we just remember the units are percent. This is 90 plus 0.25 times 100 plus 0. So I'm just showing you this is our different ways to see what it is we've assumed. So everything we do is like, it's like a model. We have a model and the model has assumptions. And the assumption of averaging is that every value you put in the average has the same importance. These are all the same. But what do we have to do? To get the wrong answer, this is all wrong because we were given sentence number 1. This is all wrong. Because in sentence number 1, they say Assignments are worth 10%, quizzes are worth 10%, the midterm is worth 30%, and the final worth 50%. So how do I change it to make it the right answer? I have to change the weight. So the 90, the assignments were really 10%. And the quizzes were really 10%. And the midterm was 30%. And the quizzes, sorry, the final exam was 50%. Now that will give you the right answer, where you can see now that there's lower value of these very high numbers. So obviously the score will go down because they did very bad on the final exam. Now what do you get? Yeah, it's low, 62. I want to show you something. I don't know that I showed you before. Let me show you on the calculator. On the calculator, you want to put your calculator into order of operations. You want to set it so it honors order of operation, or PEMDAS. So to do that, what you need to do is change the format. So you hit second format because it's not by default in order of operations. So the first format is decimal. So we'll scroll past that one. This is degrees and radians for calculations and geometry. This is the date. These are the formats for money. You want this to say AOS. If it doesn't say AOS, you need to change it. So if it says CHN, you want to change it to AOS. So that's why you do second set. Now it's AOS. When it's in AOS, that is in PEMDAS. It honors order of operations. Do you want me to do that again? Anyone?
Yes, please. Could you do
Yeah.
it again? Yeah.
Okay. So from the top, let's go second format. And just keep scrolling until you see CHN. So scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There it is. Now change it. Second set. Now it's AOS. Anybody else? So now that it's AOS, what we can do is take these numbers and put them in exactly as they are left to right. Otherwise, it wasn't going to work. So we write 0.1 times 90 plus 0.1 times 100 plus 0.3 times 60 plus 0.5 times 50. So it does the multiplication first and then it sums, and there's your answer, 62. Now you guys, obviously some of you did it without that help, but this is just for, I'm not sure what device everybody's using, but for this calculator, that's the best thing to do. So 62. So it's definitely a lower score because the final exam was done poorly and it had more weight. All right. I want to show you how to get that in your calculator from stat mode as well. So we can actually get the weighted mean using our calculators, but if you don't practice it, you're going to forget how I did it. I only discovered this last year as well, or a couple of years ago, maybe a couple semesters ago, I think. Tell me when you're ready. Ready? You guys still? It's okay. I mean, I have time. Right, and I'm putting all these videos at the top, at the very top of the Moodle. So I don't know if you knew that. I've been putting them up in the Sala Virtual. So this one I will put up as well. And I put them in YouTube because they're too big to put into Moodle, but I have them unlisted. So nobody can search for them in YouTube and find them. So it's not like they're private, but they are, because then I have to put a password and authorize all of you, and it's too complicated. So they are unlisted, so they're private, in other words. Nobody's going to find them there by accident. Unless they're searching for them. Okay. Ready? You're like, what is she ready for? Okay, we're going to go to data. Second data. Make sure there's nothing there. There's nothing there. And we're going to enter. We're going to enter X. So, okay, let me write it here, what we're going to enter. Sorry. Are you guys with me? Am I on my own? Can you hear me?
No, we are here.
We're here. All right. Okay, so I'll just put it here so it's a little clearer. So what I want to do is I want to take advantage of the X and Y, but I'm going to use X as the weight and Y as the score. Like, that's what I've been talking about. So X will be the weight and Y will be the grade. So X would be 10%, it's 10%, 30%, and 50%. And Y will be 90, 100, 60, and 50. So put that data into the calculator. So it's going to go 0.1, enter down, and now I put Y as 90. So the X's are weights. Then I put the second pair, 0.1, enter down, and then 100, enter down. And I put the third weight, 0.3, enter down, and 60, enter down. 0.5, enter down, and 50, enter down. And then I ask to compute second stat. All right, so then I go through, okay, I'll wait for you. Any questions about entry? So this is weight. And this is a score. So you see I have these formulas like weight times score. And notice we don't have to divide anything because everything was a fraction. We're dividing individually the weights, right? And this also is a mean. I use the same symbol, but you have to understand it's the sample, sorry, the weighted mean. Okay. So now I'm going to look for my results. I'm going to scroll through. Now I'm going to scroll backwards first. Let's scroll backwards. There's the answer. What did I do? See, what this gives you is the weight times score. So the calculator actually gives that to you. Isn't that nice? But you have to scroll backwards to get it.
I prefer to do it just entering the data and multiplying, but is there going to be like a lot of, I mean, it would be more useful if obviously there were a lot of numbers to enter, but
yeah, it's just to show you that, yeah, absolutely, you can just do it by manual. I want to show you that it's there. And I think it's important to realize, like, I was trying to look for the weighted standard deviation, but I couldn't figure it out. There's a way to use, like, if you keep going with the scrolling, there's other numbers in here, and all of these can help you calculate the regression result and I think you can get the standard deviation using those, but I won't get into it. But just to show you that the weighted mean is there and probably the weighted standard deviation, but I think that's going beyond. So it also is, if it treats the y and the x as two variables, it can find the regression between them. So basically, I just want to show you the calculator does have the ability to do weighted mean, but to do weighted standard deviation, I recommend that you use Excel for that. So somebody asked me to show that. The best way to do that is in Excel. I'll show you that next. Yeah, I won't give a lot of numbers, but if you get a lot of numbers, this is how you're going to do it. So do you understand the weighted mean? If you were just to average and divide by 4, it's basically wrong. It's the wrong answer. So you need to do the weighted average. So let's see, let's do weighted standard deviation. In the notes, I have a problem. I'm going to go back to the notes. Is that okay? Does anybody want to see it again? What I just did? All I did was go to stat data and I scroll up to see the multiplication, the sum of the multiples, the weighted mean. All right, I'm going to go back in the notes. Okay. And there's a weighted standard deviation discussion over here. Okay. And this video, I have this video everywhere that you see this means it's in the playlist and you can find it in Stats Longobardi, all the videos. This video took me the longest to make, and somehow this video that I made went viral and it has so many views on it. It has a lot of views. I think it ended up in Indonesia or somewhere with lots of people, somewhere in Asia, because let me find it here. Weighted mean. Weighted standard deviation. Example, yeah, it's like 5,000 views the last time I checked. And I know that's not the students. That's not my students. It's now, where is it? Yeah, 7,000 views on this one. So this is video number 14. So video 14, V14 will show you this. But you know what? You can't do it with the calculator, but you can do it easy in Excel, or you can use the table to practice. But it still has the same principle of the deviations from the mean, square deviations from the mean, but instead of dividing, you're using the weight or the probability. Okay, so I would just do this in Excel. So I would put that in Excel. And make this bigger. Whenever you do stuff like this, it's just easier. So this would be X. Oops. I have to get my keyboard. I can say, oh well. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the Excel on I'm going to use it on my computer. Because the iPad Excel is a little different. And I will waste time. Because we're already over time. But let me finish this and then we'll go. Is that all right? You guys can leave if you have to go. If you need to go, go ahead. But I'll finish here. I'll finish with this. You see my Excel? I don't know. I can see what you see. It just looks different.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to put X and P, and I'm going to, let's make it bigger. I'm gonna make them, because it drives me crazy, I'm gonna put them centered and start entering the data. So 2, 8, look familiar, 10, 16, and 5. And then here is 0.2, 0.3, 0.1, 0.3, and 0.1. Those are the weights. Now the weights must sum to 100%, right? Just to be sure. That's 100% or 1. So I have to make these columns. I have to take the deviations from the mean. That looks weird. Let me do that. So X bar is the sample mean. So I need the sample mean. So sample mean, I can get out of Excel easily
Oh,
as average.
41.
You can get all these numbers out, I think, but to make the table, let's do this. If you have to repeat this manually. So if you want to just average these, it's 8.2, but we already knew that, right? But that's the sample mean without the weights. How do we get the sample mean with the weights? Remember 8.2. So we need to do it with the weights. So to do the sample mean with the weights, I'm going to do it below. We need the weighted mean. We could use our calculator, or we could just do it here. What it means is we have to multiply these together and then sum them. That looks so weird. X dot P. Oh, it looks so weird. So I'm just going to multiply these together all the way down. I'll put what I did here. If any of you don't know Excel, I'm just putting the codes in, but you can just watch what I do. This is going to be useful later. Like this comes up again in module 7. So all I'm doing is multiplying these two together and then dragging down. So this is this times this, X times P, but then I have to sum them, right? If you want, I can put this Excel spreadsheet on the platform so you guys can practice. Would you like that?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, so and there might also be one already, but I'll check. So that is the weighted mean. Got it?
I did get it. I'm just
Yeah, I'll give you time. It's okay. Don't rush.
I didn't I used the regular calculator. I understand what you're doing there in the Excel, but
Okay. Something's happening. What's happening? I'll save. All right, so what I'm going to do now is find the deviation from the mean, which is X minus 9.1. And I'm going to do it all the way down. So I took X minus 9.1 because that was the weighted mean. I should write just weighted mean. It's the same as the deviation from the mean. I'm going to write deviation from the mean. How about that? But every observation has a different importance, a different weight or different significance. So what I have to do is take this deviation and multiply it by the weight. So what I'm going to do is take anyway, I can take the weight times I can do it that way. How did I do it in the notes? Okay, wait, I'm going to square it first. Let's deal with the squaring first, because notice that if I sum these together, and this is the discussion I make, this is what we talk about in that video on standard deviation. If I was to sum all these, what do I get? That's not right. Because I have to do the weighted sum. That's right. Okay, so if I was to take the weighted sum of all of these, so if I just took the average, the weighted average of the deviations from the mean, what would I get? I would get these numbers, and then the sum of them will be 0. So this is the sum. So the weighted average will also be 0, right? Because 0 divided by anything. This is actually, I can't do a weighted average. I already did the weighted sum. And the weights are all fractions of smaller than 1. And anyway, the point is that I cannot calculate the deviations from the mean because of these signs, the signs. And this all happened because the weighted mean is positioned perfectly in a balancing point between the left and the right, the values of below it and the values above it. So when I do a weighted average of them, you're going to get 0. So that doesn't mean anything. So instead, what we're going to do is first square the values. So we want a deviation from the mean, want a measure of spread. So I have to square all these weights. Now this whole thing here is just like an aside. I'm going to blurt it out. Not blurt it out, but make it a different color. So we don't look there again. So what I have to do is go back here and square each one. That will eliminate the sign. And now, oops. So I've eliminated the sign. And now what do? Now I can sum them. And this is called the weighted variance. And to get the weighted standard deviation, what do?
You take the root.
Take
Yeah.
the square root.
Yeah. So you have to use an equal sign to activate the functions in Excel. Oh, sorry. No. I just want to take the square root of this. And there you go. So that's the weighted standard deviation. And I did it kind of fast and rushed, but you guys can review the video. You can review this Excel spreadsheet. The point is that we had to take the square root because we had to square, and we had to square because these negatives are hiding what I want. I care about how far away the values are 2, 8, 10 from the mean, which was 9.1. And I have to remove the negative. Now, some statisticians just drop the negative sign, but the result in all the future, like the developments of statistics, was using the square instead. So they did it this way, and that's how we do it now. So you take the value as a weighted variance, but then you take the square root. So you return this into dollars now. So now you can say this is $10.81. $10.81. I used to do this. I minus 9.1, but let's see. I think that's just 9.1, right? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Okay. But you cannot call this $116.85. It doesn't make sense. You can't put units, no units on the weighted variance. And the same thing with the regular variance. You don't no units on the variance. We never put units on it because it is squared and that makes no sense. It's just a trick that they use, a technique, let's call it technique, that they use to get rid of that negative sign. And they adjust it by taking the root.
Professor, in the IQR, do we use units or not?
In the IQR, you can use units, yeah, because you're adding and subtracting, yeah, you can use units. The only place of what we've talked about that you cannot use units is the variance. All right, so I'm going to put this up on the platform and I will put up this video as well. And please keep in touch with any questions. You're going to finish module 2 and you're going to start module 3. No, what am I saying? We're going to finish module, I've lost track, module 3, and you're going to start module 4. Module 4, the way you will do module 4, well, let me check the chat. Hold on. Chat has comments. Okay. Let me go back to, so I will share this if you guys were following. If you want to see anything, remember in Excel, just hover over and you can see up here in the search bar, you can see the formulas that I used, okay? Practice. I'm going to close that and show you the platform again. Moodle. To talk a bit about module 4. Again, just to review, since you're getting the hang of what to prioritize, there's lots of material. What you're going to do is watch. So sí, I say comienza a 56 minutos because the other one still has module 3 in it. So you start at 56 minutes and you pass through here. What happened here? Oh, I just did 2 hours. So these are the old ones. So I did 1 hour here, and then I think I referred the students, they had to do all of these by themselves. So these are all the recorded videos of the notes. The page numbers may be a little bit off, but you can watch all of these to learn about normal distribution. So next week, so what I'll do is put a connect test up, and I'll do the same thing. I'll let it be due on Wednesday of the following week. And that way we can have a little bit of a time to catch up. So focus on these videos for the normal distribution. Do as much as you can. When we meet, we will talk about normal or any other questions that you have, right? So this one, just watch this video. It's about an hour, and I think it's more of a summary of everything. If you don't understand, just go into these because I go page by page by page here. Okay. I think what I do here is just begin with a discussion about density curves and frequency histograms. These are old. This will go through it again, but this is not old, but this is 2 years ago. But this will make sure you get every page done, and then you'll be ready for the discussion we have on next week.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
The first exam, well, yeah, the first exam will be module 1 through 3, or includes the 4?
Well, I have the date for the first exam on the 16th. So we're gonna have, you're gonna finish normal next week. And then we'll talk about some, any problems that you have with it. We will, the 16th, we will review regression together, and then I'll put the test up. Regression is very short. I do very, very, very little basic stuff with regression. I'm not underestimating, that you learn a lot there, but it's short. So we should be able to discuss it. Like, you'll be studying it the following week. So this week's going to be normal. Next week's going to be regression. We get together on Saturday. I review and discuss questions with you, and then I put the test up at 1. That's what's going to happen. So it should be up to module 5 for the test. So if you have time to go ahead, work ahead. All right.
Professor, one quick question regarding module 4.
Yes.
I see that you have around 4 videos. Are the last?
No, just watch this first one. This is from the past. Yeah, just watch the first one. And then if you feel like it's too advanced, just jump into here. But everyone should watch these. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the because what I did, I think that year, that last year, I don't exactly remember, but last semester, this is from last semester. I think I just referred the students to watch all these videos here, because everything is there. It'll be explained in the video what's going on. Let me see if I start at 56 minutes. Let's see. Yeah. So you need to see video 9 to understand relative frequency histograms. And then, so you basically have to watch all my edited videos. And then I jump in. So that's all I do. Okay, so let's see what I was saying. Back here. All right, so you need to watch all of these for normal, but make sure you also see video 9, V9 in the list, okay? So, because you see page 1 is missing, and that's kind of what I talk about there. V9. I'll make a note here to watch V9. And the same thing for regression. When we get there, you have to have watched something else from the other videos as well. I'm assuming you're watching all of them. So that's the working assumption, is that you're watched all of them. So if you've fallen behind on the edited videos, catch up. You have to catch up. So here, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say it there. I'll write it. I can maybe link it. That way we avoid any issues. So what I'll do is I'll put it, I'm going to put it up here. So anyway, I'll do that after class. After I get off, I'll put it in the list down here. Okay. Put V9 here. I'll link it. And that way you make sure you watch it to review density curves. If you watched it already, you don't have to watch it again. So let's see, any more questions or just goodbye? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so thanks for staying over and please keep in touch. If you have any questions, contact me and we will resolve them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Gracias.
great day.
Have a good weekend.
You
Bye.
too.
Thank you. Have an excellent weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye.